All right, I got a piece of news for y'all today. All right. And this one on this website that makes me feel like I'm on Yahoo in the year 2002 with all of the ads that are on it. This article states realtors panic as buyers pull out of deals at near record levels. Buyer quotes or realtor quotes. Market is crashing before our eyes. Now, this is a US article. I'm going to contrast it with what's happening here, right? So the US housing market is teetering and buyers are running for the exit. Spooked by high mortgage rates, mounting insurance premiums, and growing fears of a shaky economy, an astonishing 1 in 7 buyers are bailing at last minute. I've been in markets where it feels way worse than this, but apparently that is a record high when you actually aggregate the data. In April alone, 56,000 home purchase contracts were canceled. This is a big thing happening right here now, by the way, right? I'm hearing this from realtors everywhere. Even my partner last night just had a deal collapse. And just like lots of realtors I talk to right now are having this problem where deals are just falling apart left, right, and center, right? So 56,000 home purchases were canceled, equal to 14.3% of all pending deals. That's the second highest April cancellation rate ever recorded, topped by only the early pandemic chaos in 2020. So, I would say this is the highest, right? Because I don't count the pandemic as like a legitimate data point for anything like those spring months, me personally. So I would say this is the worst it's ever been. We see a lot of deals collapsing, especially in major markets like Las Vegas and Phoenix. One that they didn't mention here was Florida. Right. I'm hearing a lot of I actually hear Florida is like the worst, that it's like the worst in the US. Like their inventory is like almost twice as high as it was in 2008. Right. Maybe not, but it's freaking high. Right. And you have a lot of Canadians that own property in Florida that are liquidating those properties, probably because they need money over here to deal with the falling home prices over here. They also had, crazy insurance premiums. In some areas, you can't even get insurance. So Canadians are liquidating their vacation properties, their investments, and all these other things, and possibly even bringing that money back home to deal with all the other issues they have over here, failing businesses and investments going down and everything else, right? So that's one market that they missed there. It's especially first-time homebuyers. Some are losing their jobs. Just heard a story where a guy lost his job after the deal went firm? Yeah, after the deal went firm, lost his job before the closing date, right? So it's a legitimate concern. Some are losing their jobs. Others simply no longer qualify for loans because they don't make enough or have good credit. He added, realtors are asking sellers to accept the truth. The market is crashing before our eyes. Reasons for would-be buyers to bail are stacking up fast. A shaky economy and fear of jobs as a result has caused many to get cold feet as they worry they will not be able to cover the monthly payment. I mean, can you really blame people? Every morning I wake up, I'm drinking my morning cup of coffee, and I can't have that coffee without my morning kick in the balls, which is the newest piece of data that is absolutely terrible that seems to come out every single morning, or the newest news story of something terrible happening. Stubbornly high mortgage rates hit that 7% mean those payments are higher than many want to pay. Their interest rates are a little bit higher in the States than they are here. Growing evidence of the house price bubble burst are the icing on the cake for many. They do not want to buy now only to see property values plummet. The Miami housing market is on a knife edge as spiraling numbers of homebuyers pull out of deals. It's the largest area in the Sunshine State at risk of a crash. So I won't go too much further into that article because it is talking about the states. Now, as bad as it is here right now, this is bad for a spring, but it's not the worst I've ever experienced. The back end of 2022 was freaking awful. That was the worst that I've ever personally experienced. I sold one house from like June to the end of the year in 2022. I remember at one point during that year, I had 11 accepted offers in a row and none of them went through. Like I had 11 collapse deals in a row at the back end of 2022. And oddly enough, a couple months later in spring, the prices just freaking skyrocketed, and had everybody gone through with those deals, they could have sold and made money, right? If they're holding now, they probably wouldn't be making much money. But if they theoretically held on to it and then sold it a year later, they would have made money. But yeah, the back end of 2022 was, freaking awful. And this is a terrible spring, but not the worst that I've actually seen it when we talk about deals not going through. The back end of 2022 was way worse for me personally. And I'm not actually experiencing this as much right now, but this is just my personal business, right? In February, March, it was really, really tough to get stuff over the finish line because Trump was going off about tariffs every 2 hours on Twitter, right? Today, people are a little bit more desensitized to the negative data, so that people aren't being swayed as much by bad news coming out because people are pretty desensitized to bad news, but it's still happening, right? I'm talking to realtors every single day where their clients are backing out of deals at the last minute. The stats just came out, probably this morning, and I just took a look at them. So I'm very excited to go over that data with you guys tomorrow. This summer, I think, is going to be one of the most interesting summers we've seen in real estate in a long time because we have record high inventory. And you're probably going to see demand taper off into the summer as it usually does. And then the big question is going to be what happens with prices, because normally a lot of the time people will delist their house. They'll take their home off the market for the summer and then they relist in the fall, or they'll relist in the following spring, right? This year, I'm seeing a lot of inventory that has to be sold, right? Like just delisting it and then waiting 8 months to relist it isn't going to be an option for a lot of people. Right. So this summer, I think, is going to be very, very interesting. I was running a team meeting for my team this morning, and which, by the way, if you're a realtor and you're looking to join a team, book a call with me. And I was showing them what I do when I'm like trying to come up with a strategy for writing an offer for my clients, right? And like basically what I do is I check the history, when they bought it, how much they paid. I go through the title. I see, when did they get their mortgage? Okay, they got their mortgage in 2021. That means the renewal's coming up. Maybe they're trying to front run that renewal and get rid of it before the renewal happens. Or maybe they have two mortgages. One is with an A lender, then they have a second mortgage with like a credit union or a private loan. Or I'm looking for something that gets them in trouble, right? So as I'm like pulling up my realtor software, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna find a condo that's in trouble for you guys so I can show you what I do, right? Probably won't take me too long. The first condo that I click on, like the very first one, the buyer paid like 650 grand and now it's listed for like 585, right? So it's like, I already know this guy's in trouble because why else would you be selling at that big of a loss on a condo that you bought, a year or 2 years ago? But anyways, a roundabout way of saying summer this year is going to be interesting, and I'm going to be here to update you guys every step of the way. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. If you want to chat with me about buying or selling in the Fraser Valley, click the link down below. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.